But if you genuinely believe this, why are you in my comments blaming the individual when it is so clearly the fault of our government?
Of course, just shift the blame.
I've never met a smoker who denies it's bad for them. Same with alcoholics.
Take self-responsibility and have discipline. Don't give in to the government and stop falling victim to them.
You can't blame the government for your overeating.
Government didn't put the spoon in your mouth.
Fructose still doesn't make you fat, unless you overeat it like every other form of calories.
The fact you're blaming the government when you can't even control yourself.
It's always someone else's fault for our shortcomings.
There are millions of Americans who aren't 400 pounds like you are. It's clearly not the government's fault.
Blame the government for your choices. LMAO.
My fat body is a sign of rebellion against a systemic culture that feeds into this narrative.
So you overeat just to rebel? Or stay unhealthy just to prove a point?
It is fucking beautiful. It's powerful.
How is fat powerful when you cannot walk a pair of stairs?
I'm always reminded about the incredible things I am capable of, despite people like you telling me otherwise. I mean, I have no complaints about who I am, and I have no reason to change myself. And I'm sorry that you don't find me or fat people appealing, but honestly, we don't exist to be attractive to you. We're simply trying to exist.
Rebellion. Seriously, it's okay that you accept your body, but a kind of rebellion. I have some doubts.
Just stop, and you are just going to hurt yourself with that mindset. It's not about being attractive, it's about living a good life.
I just want to take a moment to apologize to anyone in the lipedema community who I have hurt by getting diagnosed with lipedema by not one, but two doctors. I am so sorry to have spent the last year undiagnosed, going from physician to physician to physician, 10 physicians, countless appointments, and finally figuring out why I was losing my mobility. After a lifetime of undiagnosed symptoms and signs that I had lipedema. And as it ballooned up and I gained about 150 pounds in a year, while in a calorie deficit, which I'm sure you won't believe.
Of course, because it is impossible.
All the while facing targeted harassment online because of the shape of my legs are abnormal because of the lipedema. And just finally now being able to start treatment because of my diagnoses. I am so sorry that I have hurt the lipedema community, which I am so clearly not a part of.
Thanks for this. Unfortunately, it is scientifically impossible to gain 150 pounds while in a calorie deficit.
Lipedema is a cause of abnormal fat distribution, not fat creation out of thin air in a calorie deficit.
Search up the definition of calorie deficit. When you burn more than you take in, you will lose weight, regardless of condition.
I'm sorry that you have to deal with this, but it is impossible to gain 150 pounds on a calorie deficit.
You can't gain 150 pounds while in a deficit. If you did, you'd be the first human being in history to break thermodynamic laws.
Apparently, you can overcome the laws of physics by gaining weight while in a calorie deficit. Congratulations.
You know the treatment for your illness? Healthy eating and exercise.
Yeah, but how do I achieve this physique?
2 out of how many doctors?
So 10 doctors said no, but 2 said yes, and you're running with the 2?
If you ever hear someone talk about anti-fat bias or fatphobia, and you're like, what? That doesn't exist. That's not a real thing in America now. This is what it looks like the vast majority of the time. It's this societal, culturally ingrained belief that fat people are just going to drop dead at some point. I thought it when I was a kid. All of media and people were like, oh, if you're fat, you're just going to die young. I'm almost 40. I'm showing no signs of stopping. People drop dead, unfortunately, young, due to any number of reasons, often, and not always because they're fat.
So because people die at any age, fat is healthy? Got it.
This is garbage. This is anti-fat bias. Learn to see it. Please stop doing it.
I don't get it though. Like he just said he wanted to be healthy?
It's a sliding scale. Having some extra fat isn't going to harm you. But if you have a significant amount of excess body fat, it can raise the risk.